Hello everyone, it's Dr. Gutierrez. Today I'm going to talk about alignment as used when you're using your fist, a punch. Now, one thing I will tell you is anything I say here, I would tell you to go to Ken Hub and look at the anatomy, look at the pictures so you can determine what actually works and why. By doing this, you can actually find certain things that make more sense. Now, there are reasons why certain things might be done different. For instance, if you're actually using something in your hand, you may not be able to hit the same way as if you're pretty much have nothing in your hand, empty hand, I guess you could say. If you're in a boxing glove, one of the things you'll notice if you're wrapped, you actually won't be able to move your thumb exactly the same way, so you might be here. And so some things are actually done because that's the only way you can be done. And so it's actually a good idea to look at why you're doing things, why you're doing certain things. And if you're using empty hands, it's vital for you to actually look at the bones. And what I'm going to talk about mainly is alignment. Now, if you ever take a kinesiology class, kinesiology is the science of body movements, they'll talk about alignment when it comes to exercises, how you should actually lift certain things. Now, these are people who have been studying body movements and structure for at least 5 years. Some of them actually a lot longer. And so it's a good idea to listen to someone who has the knowledge and understanding of what they're talking about. So kinesiologists are a really great source to talk to about how certain things should be done. The other big group that is actually really interested in alignment is chiropractors. Chiropractors will constantly drill to you alignment. And then if you actually look at a lot of classical arts, like dance, even martial arts or sports, alignment becomes a big issue. For instance, there's a reason why usually people tell you, oh, when you're going to be doing something, hold your arms back and back straight so you're in a nice alignment. It actually helps you maintain the center of gravity where you need it. There are variations to why you would not want it like that. For instance, if you're actually doing something to throw, you're actually trying to throw your center of gravity, so you may actually lean forward or lean back depending on what you're trying to do. But alignment is actually important, especially as you are dealing with this. Center of gravity is actually a concept from kinesiology. It pretty much is, if you take pretty much the weight where it would be sitting in the human body. So if you're actually standing with your two legs wide open, your center of gravity will be in a certain area. By the way, you can actually get stronger center of gravities and stronger, well, center of gravity is important for balance, but I'm not going to talk about that right now because I do want to talk about the fist. And again, if you want to actually know more about it, go to Ken Hub. They actually offer a free trial. They also offer a free membership. If you really want to know it, they'll get the paid subscription. Now, I'm going to show you a little experiment on why alignment is important. And the reason I'm dealing with alignment is because some people ask, well, how do you maintain form if your muscles are relaxed? And for that, I'm going to use 2 cups. Now I want you to think about this. Force is directional. So if you're punching straight, you're punching in one directional plane, right? And gravity is actually a force. So if I put this cup, I'll use it the other way. If I put this cup here, and I put a second cup on top of it, it doesn't need anything to hold it in place because the alignment is perfect. Now, if I start moving it a little off from alignment, I now need to hold something so this doesn't come off. The reason this is important is when you're punching, if your arm is in perfect alignment, what I mean is, if you look at the line between your 2 knuckles, your radius, and then if you turn a lot here, it'd be your ulna over here, you actually have an alignment that comes in. And so if you think about it, you can make a straight line coming across this area here with these 2 knuckles. And if you are aligned right, you do not need muscles to support this. It's going to be the alignment that supports it. I'm going to show you on makiwara a little bit later. And so that's actually one of the things that happens. If you actually line up and it's a straight line through your bones, you don't have to worry about, well, do you need muscles to support the joint? Because, like I showed you with the 2 cups, if your alignment is on point, you actually can put a lot of pressure on here and not ever have this break. The only time this would break is if the force was so much to break the two cups. And if you're breaking the two cups, well, then you're probably going to, the muscle's not going to matter at that point. It's going to break completely anyways. So if you think about it, if we're actually doing a straight punch here and everything lines up, then the muscles to support it are not needed. It's like the two cups going perfect. Now some people say yes, but what if it's not perfect? Well, if it's not perfect, you then are going to have some damage. And I'm going to pause so we can go to makiwara and I can show you what I'm talking about. Hello, so here you can actually see my makiwara. Actually, you'll notice that mine is pretty simple. It's a 2x4 then reinforced by a second 2x4 here. And it actually is on a platform so I can actually hit and not have to worry. So it is going to, nice thing is it does have some give. Now, one of the problems is if I actually come in this way here, doesn't matter where I come in, you'll actually notice that the force on the fingers actually goes at transverse angles. What that means is the alignment isn't actually proper. You can actually do damage to the joints of the wrist down over here and here because of the way it'll move. You'll also be able to break these three bones of the hand relatively easy. If I actually come straight here, you'll notice that it actually comes in. Now it doesn't matter if I come down here or come all the way up here, coming in like this, my hand doesn't actually move. Nice thing is most faces are not just a flat thing, so you don't have to worry about that. But here you can actually see the two knuckles will actually make contact, making a straight line. Here you have other issues. Now, it's not just with punching there. If you're actually going to hit with one finger here, this may actually work pretty well. If you try to do it with any of the other fingers, it will again be out of alignment. So my favorite one to hit with is this one here. Again, it looks like it's out of alignment here, but it's because the force will be coming in this way. So you can't actually hit here. And if you're coming in with a straight hand here, you can actually do this. I actually open up a little bit so it supports, but you can't actually hit with just one knuckle, the finger here or here, and it will line up to the hand and to the wrist, so you won't have as much damage. Now, if I'm actually going at weird angles, then you actually do have to worry about a lot of other things, not just which muscles to contract. So again, I would never hit my makiwara like this, and I would tell you to test this on yourself. Do it softly. So what I mean is, don't come and just slam as hard as you can to try to get the punch in, but try it, putting it in and putting the force. I mean, if you notice here, when I'm lined up, I can actually lean all the way in, and I can almost relax my arm. If you actually watch, I'll do it with this hand. I can actually open my hand, and what's actually supporting it is actually the structure. It's not the muscles that are holding it. If you look at this, it's relatively soft everywhere. My fingers, no force in there whatsoever, and all I'm using is, well, this is actually the rope is kind of squishy. If you look here where it's flat, I actually can just use my one knuckle to actually put all my weight into the makiwara. And I don't have to worry about making oh, well, does my fist have to be hard? Do I have to go all the way? It's just, if you punch, you actually do have the support of the hand. Now, I can talk, and it doesn't mean anything. But if I'm going to hit this and I'm actually telling you, yes, you don't have to be tight when you hit, because if you rely on structure, the only way to actually prove that is for me to do it on this. So I will do a couple strikes on my makiwara. You'll see what I'm talking about. And I recommend, if you try this, try it soft first. So for instance, if you're doing one finger, use the one finger and slowly build in. So when you hit something, it doesn't actually come back and recoil to a point where it hurts you. So I'll do a couple punches to show you what I mean. So if you look at, again, pay attention to the softness of the muscles. So you'll notice that I'm not tightening and trying to be really, I'm just throwing the punch and letting it hit. This is what I'm talking about with structure. If you notice, I can actually hit, let go. If you notice, I can actually hit, let go, hit, and it really doesn't do anything to my hands. I do get the force to move this back, And that's all I'm actually looking for is, can I get the force to go in there? I have actually done some measurements, and it actually does not seem to matter if I tension or if I punch and pull back. What the punch and tension usually tends to give you more of a push. If you punch and pull back, it tends to be faster, and so you can actually retreat and go again. But what you'll notice is my hands aren't broken. A little bit of redness on the knuckle, but that's can be expected. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can try this out, and I would tell you try it out. Be gentle with yourself. Do not just hit as hard as you can and see what happens. Go softly, slowly. See if your alignment works out. Cameras are actually a good thing because you can see if you're actually aligned or not. I hope you enjoyed this and have a nice day.